Recently, I did a video on the Vive Focus Vision. We got it out of the box, we tried it, and I lamented that you can't use your Vive trackers with your Vive Focus Vision. And let's just say, I decided that I was going to take the direct approach because there might be something interesting going on with these. And it's not just the fact that you don't need base stations to run them. So, let's get right into it. Hello and welcome. You're watching GreaterThanPie. My name is Wolfie, and thank you so much for watching my video. So, what are we taking a look at? Well, we're taking a look at the Vive Tracker Ultimates. Specifically, this is their holiday bundle, which comes with a dongle and these track straps. We'll talk about price in a little tiny bit, but these are more expensive than your typical Vive trackers. But they do a little bit more than your typical Vive trackers. These actually work the same way that your headset does. It uses the same tracking technology that the inside-out headsets work. So each individual tracker is inside-out tracking, which is kind of crazy. We did get the 3-pack, which does come with this dongle regularly, but for the holidays, they had an extra bundle that came with the straps. The straps are not strictly necessary because there are plates inside these boxes to convert the new mounting mechanism to the old straps, but having the new ones should be kind of interesting. So we'll hold off on those. Let's take a look at these trackers first. Pretty straightforward. Like how it's like front and center and okay, a little bit heavier than your regular Vive tracker, and that's for pretty good reason. Not only is there a battery on this thing, but as you can see from the top-down camera, there are 2 sensing cameras that are going to try to pick up on your play space. There is a pogo pin connector, and that's for charging this using their charging station. You could charge, I think, up to 5 in one charging station, or you can charge it via USB-C, which I believe is included. You'll also notice that there's no screw on the back here, and that's because this has a new mounting mechanism where you've got these clips that you can relieve from the outside, and those connect to the new pieces. It's really straightforward. I mean, it's there. It's already trying to sync to stuff, which is crazy. Okay, in this little box underneath, we got our warranty card, and yeah, that's about it for that. We've got the plate. So this snaps onto here, and we'll convert it to the old style screw mount, which this is the same type of screw that you'd find on camera equipment. We'll put the exact numbers on screen. I think it's like G1/4, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. And then of course a charging cable. This is USB-C to USB-C. That's gonna suck. I'm gonna have to get more USB-C to USB-A cables. There is a dongle. And this dongle is exciting because compared to the old dongles, much better. So that is everything in the box there. We've got, what the heck is that? It is some type of a tracking strap and some kind of an L bracket that connects to obviously this little piece. And this little piece is our base that connects to the PC. This is a lot more elaborate than I thought it would be. And this is the actual dongle. All right, man, everything is USB-C on here. Wow, that's, okay. So this is the dongle that can connect to the Vive trackers. Good news is you only need one of them because this will handle up to 5 trackers simultaneously. Past 5 trackers, pretty much anybody who's done full body tracking will tell you, not exactly necessary. I'm gonna have to figure out what this strap is for. I do not know. It is certainly very interesting, but yes, this is the intended use case. If you've seen the regular Vive trackers, it's pretty much the exact same setup. The question is it supposed to be USB-C to USB-C only, or yeah, we'll have to figure out the exact specifications. I do have USB-C ports available on my computer and one that's even stationed in the front, so won't be a problem for me, but maybe a problem for you if you do not have those available. And then finally, let's take a look at these track straps. Now these track straps are branded with Dance Dash on it. Dance Dash is a VR game. I do already own it, but there's gonna be an extra copy of the game in here. And I'm going to use that for standalone because I don't have a copy of it standalone. I only have the copy for Steam. So these are, I'm going to guess this is my code right here. This looks like it's got code in it. Okay, how to activate. Yeah, this got my code. And this is for Viveport. So that's good that that's for Viveport. Hilariously, this is going to be a version that's going to work on both PC VR and standalone. But I'm going to use it on standalone mode through there and add the Steam copy. So these track straps are a little bit different. They are very nice in quality. So I'm going to have to do some adjusting. But you'll see that they have the official Vive plates so that they can just snap on. And now you are set up. And because they are color coordinated, you've got your belt, you've got left and right. And there is a secondary version of these that actually has a foot strap that I would advise buying if you're buying them separately. Oh, that Velcro is tough. That's good. That's good. I have some track straps that are falling apart. And the best part about this is if I want to pop these off here, 2 buttons, no unscrewing, and I don't have to worry about it going side to side. That I'm actually very excited about because as somebody who's used Vive trackers in the past, with the screw mechanism, it can get slightly unscrewed and then you get some really wonky weirdness when it comes to your movements. So I'm overall very excited to see how this all works in VR and more importantly, how it all works standalone. This is all just connect to this headset and do we just go from there? I don't know yet. So let's get the rest of them out of the box and get in there. Hi guys, I got full body tracking and I'm using the Vive Tracker Ultimates and look at this. I can karate kick. I actually have it on my wrist because I can't get the straps around my elbow, but you can see even with just the extra wrist tracking, that's kind of crazy. I also have face tracking. So I've got like every bit of tracking that you could possibly have on this headset, including the eye tracking working, which just got updated recently so that it'd be more compatible with VR chat stuff. So everything's working. And as you can see, it does certainly make things a lot more lifelike, if you will. Like all the mini movements and stuff like that just are captured. And it's insane to me. Okay, guys, I've had a bit of time with these and there's some really good things and some weird things and some not so great things. So let's get right into it. So first off, let's talk about the tracking quality because it is pretty impressive. I didn't experience any jitter. I didn't experience any disconnecting. It just worked. No drifting either, which was even crazier. So they actually are better than the Vive Tracker 3.0s in that regard. And I think that's because a lot of the times they're actually relying on IMU data and then they're doing a self-tracking mask. No matter how you use it, they do have to create their own mask in order to understand the environment around them. And the process is a little weird. Inside the headset, there's this little like weird gopher creature that teases you. Sort of actually like, if you remember Spyro the Dragon, there were those things that like made fun of you. That is what it reminds me of. Point is, you have to do this scan of high and low from both a squatted and standing position. And no matter how you use this, you're going to be doing pretty much the same scan. And you do it in a 360 motion. Once it has its map, it's usually pretty good. There is a syncing process, which is the same figure 8 maneuver that we've used 1,000,001 times. And then it just works. Play space is calibrated, the trackers track, and they do their job. Over my course of using them, I never was able to play longer than the battery life would go, but I do know that some VR chat users will be able to kill the battery quite easily on these things, since I believe it's only about 4 hours. Though, one of the cool things is if you did have, say, a replacement set, so let's say you had 5 and then you had another 5, you can pop them off, turn them off, and connect new ones in their place fairly quickly. So you could have sort of a hot swap system going together with that. Though that would be very expensive since each of these trackers is $200, which brings me into kind of the weird, and that is the fact that the dongle is not included. Well, sort of, because it is included if you buy a pack of 3. Now, if you are trying to set up for full body tracking, you are going to need 3 to begin with. So this bundle isn't the worst deal in the world. And after you buy straps, it should come to around like $650 for that pack. But there was a deal that was going on for the holidays and may run for other holidays that was $500 for the 3 trackers, the dongle, and straps, along with a copy of Dance Dash, which is a pretty good game to actually test with it. So overall, they're actually not the worst in cost. It just looks bad in comparison to the old trackers. Now, what I was a little bit disappointed by, and I understand they really didn't advertise this as a feature, but I was hoping that you could almost use these trackers as like a mesh tracking network, so that the controllers that come with the Vive Focus Vision would be able to pass in front of one of these trackers, and that would actually aid in tracking. Unfortunately, that is not the case. While these trackers track flawlessly, you know, around the back, behind everything and being obscured, they don't really help the normal controllers. And it is a little weird that it doesn't seem like there's a setting to just have the trackers on your wrist work as the primary tracking for the controller, and then having the controllers work as just button inputs. That would be useful if that were the case, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like it's something that you can do, at least not easily. So they track well, they work well, they're kind of expensive. Should you buy them? And that's a complicated question, and that's because it all depends on really one factor. What headset are you using? And so if you've got HTC's newest headsets, so the Vive Focus Vision, the XR Elite, if you've got the MetaQuest 3S or the MetaQuest 3 or even the MetaQuest 2, you probably should use these instead of using the old school trackers. And the reason for that is if you are to buy the old school trackers, you need base stations. And if you're going to set it up properly, you need at least 3 base stations, which by the time you buy the trackers and the base stations, your cost is going to exceed the cost of just buying the $600 pack with the dongle for the same number of trackers. But if you have a headset like the Index, you already have 2 base stations. Let's say you bought a third one to increase your tracking quality, and you went ahead and you got your 3 trackers, you'd actually come in lower than the cost of buying these trackers. What does complicate things though is that the next Valve Index looks to be an inside-out tracked headset, which means that 2 parties who make base stations, being Valve and HTC, who are in collaboration for those base stations, the Valve Index base stations or base stations 3.0s or something like that. Point is, those base stations are being manufactured by 2 parties who are moving away from that technology, which means that unless somebody else steps up, base stations may be going away. And that is something to consider if you are trying to get into full body tracking. Even if you have an Index, it's complicated, but I do think that these trackers will eventually have to be the ones that you use if you want the most accurate full body tracking, because if base stations go away, then the other ones go away. And the IMU trackers are great and they're getting better, but they unfortunately are not perfect. They're not as good as these. So if you were to rank these, you'd actually put the 2 HTC ones towards the top and then the different IMU ones underneath it. And then probably like Xbox Connect and using the weird mirror technique, which you can do with the Meta headsets. So yeah, they're good. They work great. They're a little expensive, but I do like them enough that I bought 5 of them. So there's that. Am I crazy enough to buy 10? No, I am not that crazy. I don't spend nearly enough time in VR to make that work. And I'm sure you can also hook these into battery straps to extend their battery the exact same way that you do the other ones, because that's a thing. But that is where I'm ending it today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Wolfie, out.